Okay, folks, we're doing a take two right now. Take two. Here we are at 5:15 p.m. So I will say good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on what time it is where you are when you're watching. I tried doing a live stream of good questions, good comments, and things to start out with, but I had some technical problems. I may still have technical problems. You have to let me know how it is here. First of all, the sound wasn't too good last time. Is it better now? The sound, particularly from people who said that the sound was poor last time. Hello, James. Hello, Mike. Hello, Noah. Christian. Lila. Okay, sounds great. Good. Well, it sounds as good as it could with this lousy voice. We all hate the sounds of our voice, right? Don't we hate the sounds of our own voice? Hello, Robbie. And I've got one of the worst. All right. All right. Good. Good. All right. So here we are. As I was started to say with the last live stream, I'm doing this my first solo catch up with Mayo by myself of the year 2025. Because I already did a couple of live streams with other people. Had Beetle Babe, I had Danny on there. I think with Melody. I already did a couple of live streams if you want to watch those. But this is the first one I'm doing by myself, and that, of course, is how this always starts out, or how it started out for me anyway, just doing my own thing, getting in touch with the people who watch my channel. So I always like doing that. I believe in keeping in touch with your audience. So it's nothing that I dislike more. I won't name any names, but I know there are some places I go and some people never look at their comments. They never respond to any comments, and they never even give you even just a little like heart. The heart shows you that at least they are aware of your comment and have read it. So hello to everybody here, everybody that's here. Was it a conscious decision in 2025 to hit the streams with movie reviews? Well, it was a conscious decision to start doing more movie reviews and movie content in general on my movie channel, which is Mr. Cinemayo. And as far as this particular one here, I did do a movie review, of the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown. And that one I did right here on my Mean Mr. Mayo channel. I was almost going to do that old thing that I threaten to do all the time, or half promised to do all the time, where I was going to take my movie channel content and move it all over to Mean Mr. Mayo. But now I decided, no, right now I'm very happy with two. I'm very happy with two channels. So I hope you'll consider going over there and joining. Some of you who may not be there. So here it is. Oh, wrong one. Mr. Cinemayo. There it is. That's the name of my movie and TV channel. This channel, Mean Mr. Mayo, is more music, I guess, right? Music themed stuff for the most part. And whereas Mr. Cinemayo is movies, television, things like that. Soon to be comic books, doing comic book content too. So there you go. To anybody that I missed, I want to make sure I get everybody, Brad, James, Matchstick Man, Claire, Rory. What Beatles goodies are you hoping for this year? Well, Rubber Soul. Hoping we get Rubber Soul. I'm hoping we get what Sean Lennon has been saying. We may get Walls and Bridges, a deluxe set of that, along with the 1-to-1 benefit concert, John Lennon in New York City, Madison Square Garden from 72. We're supposed to get that upgraded. Those are two of the things I'm most excited about. Okay. Speaking of the movie channel, I really enjoyed you and Tom's review of A Complete Unknown. Yeah, please check that out. Tom Hunyadi and I, over at the movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo, did a nice discussion, about a half an hour long, where we both talked about the movie, the new Dylan biopic. Am I a Neil Young fan? I would say I'm more of a fan than not. You have to figure. I feel like Bob Dylan here. Well, what's a fan? What do you mean a fan? We all have different interpretations of that word. What does that mean? Um, I would say that I'm more of a fan than a foe, but I don't love everything that he did, but I like a lot of songs. You know. Now this does me good to see this, Jeff. It's so great to see you here. Sometimes people aren't here for a while, and I wonder, are they all right? What happened to them and stuff? So I'm glad you're back here. Oh, but I see. I'm sorry. You say you're dealing with a huge family health issue. Okay, yeah, I expect to go to the Beetle Fest in March, so hopefully I'll see you there, and I hope things work out for you. Nothing worse than health problems, and that's all. I'll be honest with you. That's my biggest fear in the world. I mean, health is everything. Take it from me. I had problems with my health for a few years when I was only 22 to 27, those 5 years. And it's you lose a lot of your life that way. Depending what's going on, depending on how bad it is or what it is. But hopefully things get better. They did for me, and hopefully they will for you and your family. Um, What happened to the guy who used to be on with you? All I remember was you kept saying about him wearing a toupee. I forgot his name. I think you're talking about Woodland Goblin. Woodland Goblin decided to step away from the channel, and nothing you can do about it. It's his decision. I don't know what happened, why he's not back. Are you going to try out different cinemas this year to see the latest films? I don't know. I'm not much on new films, really, but I'd like to try to go to different cinemas. I'd like to try to see more new films in the cinemas. So we'll see how I do with that. Let's see. I watched one of your videos over the new year, and I remember you doing it. Then it said under the video 6 years ago. I was shocked. Yeah, I know. Isn't it? Geez, right? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Time goes so fast. The older we get, the faster it goes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks a lot. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your contribution. Now, I know the name. I know the name Noah very well, but I can't put it together who it is. People keep asking me if I've seen the new Superman trailer, and I say, no, I haven't. So... Okay, the record producer, Lou Adler. I'm sure there's a connection here somewhere. Who do I consider to be a good Beatles tribute band? They're all about the same to me. I hear that the Fab Four, Faux, are supposed to be among the best. I don't know if I've ever heard them live, but I've seen a lot of them. Strawberry Fields, Rain, the Fab Four, not to be confused with the Fab Four, and they're good. They're pretty good. I like them. I don't have any that stand out really. I just heard that the Fab Four are supposed to be the best. One of the very best. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Claire gave me a little gift here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It really helps out. It really does. I mean, we all got our issues about being retired, being retired and not working anymore. It helps. I appreciate it. Comic book related. Are you a collector or just starting to collect? Will you be going to comic fairs or even do Comic Cons interest you? Well, no, because first of all, I think I'm too far along to start going crazy. I collected comic books when I was like, 11, 12, 13, 14, when you start as a kid. And I had a pretty big collection, and I did sell all my comics eventually as I got older. I think I sold them 10 years ago, something like that. And now, 10 years later, just like I did with vinyl when I started this channel, now all of a sudden I'm getting the bug. I have, you know, I saw a few comic books that were cheap, and I decided, I was ready to enjoy them again. I like the artwork. I love the covers. I love the artwork. I mean, when I used to get the comic books in the day, mostly the Amazing Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk, and a bunch of others, I would read them, and I enjoyed them very much. And they continued from issue to issue like a soap opera. Now I'm into them for the artwork more than anything, and for the nostalgia buzz. That's why I'm into it. This is a book that I have not heard about. There are so many books like that, though. A lot of books like that, similar. Lou Adler, producer of the new Neil Young album. Carole King. That's why I've heard the name around. So Neil Young is going to do Glastonbury. First, he refused. Yeah, you enjoy watching comic and music channels, despite not collecting currently. I like the history of it. But, Lila was asking me about Comic Cons. I forgot. Would I go to comic book conventions and things like that? I don't think so, because they're going to be very expensive. I don't have the funds. I don't have the money anymore to go spending ridiculous prices on comic books. I think what I'm going to do is just, I'll be going around here and there, maybe a store here or a store there. No big cons. Maybe, who knows? I won't say never, but I won't be spending big bucks, and I can't, But I have a mentality that I'm not out to get every issue in a series. I used to have every issue of the Incredible Hulk pretty much. Okay. And I got rid of everything. So I'm just looking to get key books here and there. Or when I say key books, I don't mean the most expensive books. Key books usually mean expensive. The most expensive ones are the most popular, but just ones that I like. If I happen to see comics around for cheap, and I like the artwork, I'll get them. I'm basically buying whatever it is that appeals to me that I can afford when I can afford it, and not on a insane mission to get every single issue of every single character, because I'll never be able to do that. Why is there a Bob Dylan movie out? It's not commemorating anything, really. Just, well, I don't know. This was in development for a while, I believe. This wasn't just in development the last year or so. Yes, Scott. More purging in 2025. Yeah, more purging. It's funny. I'm getting rid of stuff, and then I'm buying stuff. That's the way it is, and I have no problem admitting to myself and admitting to all of you that I am a collector. I like to collect. I've been a collector since I was a little kid. It's in my blood, and I enjoy it. There'll be some differences. There'll be some things I don't collect as much. There'll be some things I don't collect at all. There'll be maybe some things I never collected before that I start. So I change, or it changes. The dynamic changes all the time. Cherry pick. When I was a collector, that's what I did. Never a completist. Yeah, well, in the case of the comic books, what I want to do is I want to try to get the omnibus books, the books that kind of have the books that contain all the issues in the book, and if I'm going to get a complete run, that's the way I would do it. It would be cheaper that way than buying every individual book. Is it possible to get copies of Famous Monsters of Filmland and the Monster Times? Yeah, I grew up with both of them. Even hearing you say those titles takes me right back to being 10 years old. Yeah, and I definitely want to get those. And in the case of Famous Monsters, a Filmland magazine, that I'd like to get every single run. I have most of them. Or a lot of them. That I would look to complete the collection. And I see Danny is popping in here. Danny, hey, what's going on, Danny? Danny. I was trying to talk to you today. I left a couple of messages. What happened? You can't wait for the Blu-ray release of Godzilla -1 minus the color. I don't see the need for that. I know they put it out in black and white. It was a color film. Then later on, they put it out with no color. I know why they did it. They did it to emulate the original Godzilla film, probably to get the feeling of the original Gojira from 1954. But I really don't have any need for that. Seeing that you like horror, did you like or have the comics like Tales from the Crypt, Tales of Terror, Weird Stories, etc.? Yeah, put one on the shelf back there. Yeah, I like those, and I'm going to be buying some of those. Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula, The Frankenstein Monster, another comic book, and some of those. I had some of them. Yeah, I never had a complete set of any of them. But do you have a favorite character as far as comics? Yeah, well, the Hulk was always my favorite character. And back when I was reading the Hulk, he wasn't always a mindless, growling, savage monster. He actually had a personality. He was a little dim-witted, but he could speak and communicate. And he talked like a you know caveman in a way, but he had some intelligence, albeit slight. But yeah, Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man as well. Spider-Man and the Hulk. I always wanted to get more into Daredevil. I'm a Marvel Comics guy, by the way. I think I heard of the title. I haven't seen the trailer, but I heard the title. Amy Adams movie Night Bitch. I've heard the title. Yeah, it's supposed to be a new McCartney album in 2025. He already said pretty much that that's what he's working on. McCartney said he had a New Year's resolution to finish that and get it out. Some people are speculating, excuse me, that it might not come out in 2025 this year. I hope it does. Would you agree? Live and Let Die on One Hand Clapping has to be one of the best versions. Very good version. Yeah, I'll sign off on that. Cheers. There's a lot of Bob Dylan stuff going around now, but Bob Dylan's very big. And I was also watching the clip of Bob Dylan when he does his part for the song "We Are the World." He goes over to the side, he puts the headphones on, he goes, "There's a choice we're making. We're saving our whole lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me." Yeah, remember that too. I was watching that clip. Okay. Boy, that stopped the comments. Danny usually likes when I do that, and I don't know. He was watching. I hope he got to see it. I don't think I saw the documentary. I don't think I saw it. I've seen a lot of clips over the years of them working on the song, but I don't know if I saw the whole documentary. Mad to think if Bob Dylan had entered the song contest, he would have been voted off immediately. I used to joke about that. We used to watch that show, American Idol, and my girlfriend is this trained singer, and she would say, "Oh, this guy can't sing, that woman can't sing," and I used to say, you know, if Neil Young went on American Idol, he'd be like, heart of gold, and I'm getting old. They would have thrown Neil Young off. They would have thrown Bob Dylan off. My point being, like, how do you know? Just because it doesn't sound like perfect, they don't sing like they're like, I don't know, Caruso, or sing like Robert Goulet or something like that. Doesn't mean they don't have some kind of appeal. You know. Yeah, I've seen some clips of that "We Are the World" thing. Kind of funny. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, welcome those of you who are in the gallery. Thank you for those watching. Lurking about. I appreciate it. I think it's a pretty good bet that I'm going to buy the new Ringo album. It's supposed to come out on Friday. His country album, long-awaited country album. People have been waiting for a country album for many decades, called "Look Up." Hey, Matthew Smith, how's the weather? You know what? I haven't been outside today. This is the first day, and I can't remember. First day I haven't been outside. I'm going to have to go outside, though, soon. Well, I could tell you this, though. I did see the trees blowing wildly out the windows, and I was like, boy, this time of year stinks. Uh, Absolutely. Are you the type to always say, I'm glad that's over with once Christmas has gone? Absolutely. And, today, this morning, my girlfriend was in the other room. She had the TV on. I went in there, and it was a Christmas movie on the Hallmark Channel. Christmas on January 4th. January 4th in a Christmas movie. Can you believe it? And I said to her, I hate to break it to you, but Christmas is over. And she said to me, yeah, this is going to be their last one of the year. Like, this is the last, well, yeah, last one. Sure, right. It's going to be the last Christmas movie until July. In the summertime, they're going to have Christmas in July on the Hallmark Channel. It's cold and windy out. Yeah. No, 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 no. We've been through this before. I know people say that. I know you say that. To me, it's done. It's finished. Julian Lennon has a new book out. Anyone got it? I don't. If anybody else has one, let me know. It's so great when we finally get to January 1st or 2nd. We all knew that answer. Take down those ornaments and decorations in Mayo's neighborhood. That's right. I don't want to see any. They should be down by now. This is January 4th. However, I'm not going to go crazy if they stay up to like January 10th. Something like that. But if they stay up at the end of January into February, oh boy. Is there a specific film you're going to try and watch soon? I'm trying to think if I have anything on my radar. No, I've been watching a lot of the movies that I've been wanting to watch lately, and I'm glad I was able to watch Secret of the Incas. That was a request by Wes Beck, one of my viewers on my movie channel. And I promised him I would get that movie watched before the end of 2024, and I watched it with like 5 hours to spare before midnight on New Year's. 73 degrees in Tucson. That sounds good to me. Cold there, huh? Been chilly. I think Paul will play his original Hofner bass live again. Me too. I think he did. Had a reunion with my Army buddies. Thanks for reminding me, Robbie. Hold on a minute. I'll tell you. Had a reunion with my Army buddies I served with in West Germany at Fort Benning, Georgia. 38 years ago, I last saw him. Very, very good to hear. Hope it was a nice reunion. By the way, I did get your message. You gave me some advice in one of the comments. We won't talk about it here, but I read it. I acknowledged it. Thank you. And then I deleted it. No offense. Only because, unfortunately, this is the world we live in today. I don't want to leave too much about that kind of thing up, but I do appreciate your thought. We have a film critic here in the UK, and he is always honest, quote, in his opinion. And to be fair, you have been so good so far. Keep it up. Would love you to do one a week, it would be cool. Movie reviews? Well, movie reviews, I'm going to do at least one a week, hopefully more. But, some of the movies may be movies you're interested in. Some of them, a lot of them, maybe movies you're not interested in. A lot of them will not be brand new movies that are out in the theaters now, although I'm going to try to see a few more of them. I'm going to try. Ain't promising anything. Again, please go over to Mr. Mayo. Please, please, please. Well, I hear this every year. Every year I hear this. I'm not, here's what I'm going to say about this. I'm not going to dispute that you're correct. I believe what you're saying here is correct. But I'm telling you, in my season, my Christmas mind, my mood, my life, Christmas ends. I even give it to January 1st. January 1st. I mean, I don't even cry about Christmas from the 25th or 26th till New Year's Eve. The last week with New Year's Eve and all that, I leave it alone. But for me, when that page of the calendar is turned, Christmas is done, kaput. I realized that, that's just my mind and not the reality for me. I've never seen The Man Who Haunted Himself, but I heard things about it, and I do like Roger Moore. All of our decorations come down New Year's Day. Now, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Went to the market today, and Valentine's Day displays are out already. Yikes. It is what it is. I don't know if you can hear, but I got lots of noise. I got water running upstairs. Now it's stopping. I got the things turned on. I got trains going by. That's why I used to wear my little mic with the headphones. But it is what it is, so I'm not going to wear it out. Okay, so we have somebody here who says Christmas ends January 5th. And it is what it is. It's a train again. I'm going to mute it. Okay, I muted the train. I mute it where I can. I can't always get it. I don't always want to get it. I know one thing. It's not a complete thought here or a complete sentence. That I'll tell you. A Complete Unknown will be out on DVD in February, and I'm going to be there for it. I want it. That's a movie that's going to be part of my collection, a proud place in my collection. It's going to take. Great film. It's not too often these days where there's a movie that's a new movie in the theater, and I want to get it on a Blu-ray or, to have it in my collection. I still got to get the Godzilla movie that we were talking about, Godzilla -1. I still got to get that. For the first time ever, I watched The Time Machine, the 2002 version. I saw the old one, but not that one. No. I don't know what that is, but I definitely don't care about Super Bowl, if that's what you mean. So, yeah, well, I've been to that theater before. I did a video on my movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo, and that was a dine-in experience, and that's in Maine. I've gone there a few times before in the past when I visited Maine. So it's fun. It's fun to go in there. Do I own the 2005 remaster Concert for Bangladesh? Can't wait for what Peter Jackson and the rest of the team will do. Yeah, concert for Bangladesh is supposed to come out again. I'm not that interested. I kind of have enough with Bangladesh. It's back there on the shelves. As I often say, I never listen to the audio of Bangladesh. I don't care to hear the audio, but I like to watch the film. If I'm going to watch Bangladesh or have anything to do with the Bangladesh show, it's watching the movie. And I already have one that's pretty good, but I'll buy the new one too if it's improved even more, has more extras. Please tell me Anthony is doing okay. As far as I know, he is doing okay. I've talked to him on the phone, and he's doing okay, Anthony. Yeah, yep. He's got a couple of problems, but he's doing okay. Yeah, too bad we can't make videos, like we used to. You never know. You never know. Rome loves dad. You never know. A lot of mysteries out there in the world, right? I did not see Gene Simmons talking about Elvis hating the Beatles last week, but like I say, first of all, I like Gene Simmons. I always said that. I think Gene Simmons has a good head on his shoulders, and I think the guy's a good businessman, and I respect him in that regard. As far as Elvis goes, I am an Elvis fan, but please don't pit me against Elvis against the Beatles, because if that ever happens, Elvis will lose for me every time. And I say that with respect to Mystery Train. I say that with respect to Robbie Detroit's Vinyl, and a lot of other people that are big Elvis people. I'm a big Elvis guy. I like Elvis a lot. But lately getting into Bob Dylan so heavily again, and the Beatles, being a songwriter goes a long way for me. I love Elvis for his charisma and his personality and his great voice and his all the natural God-given talent that he had. But there is something for me about the songwriting thing, about Dylan writing songs like "The Times They Are Changing" and "Blowing in the Wind" and "Like a Rolling Stone," and of course the Beatles and all they wrote. But anyway, technology has improved, though. Yeah, this is true. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't know. The thing, I wonder if the concert for Bangladesh has improved any. Hmm. It's not one of my favorite concerts. Now, concert for George, I like a lot. Um, Hello, John. What's going on? Yeah, the country album by Ringo called "Look Up" will be out on January 10th. After that, what Beatles projects will be next in 2025, solo or Beatles? Well, there's something by Paul McCartney called "Man on the Run" that's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be Sean Lennon says there's going to be the one-to-one film with John. It's going to be remastered and presented. Probably Rubber Soul or Nothing's Etched in Stone. Probably something to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Anthology, Beatles Anthology. So there's a lot of stuff coming. Am I totally against colorizing black and white films? That's always a tough question for me. My whole life, I've been a purist when it comes to colorizing movies. I don't like them colorizing black and white movies. Over the years, I've gotten more mellow about that, and I figure, you know what? If they colorize it, but only on the condition, two conditions. Number one, the colorization has to be really flawless. It has to look like it's real, like we really believe it's in color. And they're getting better with it. They're getting better. The other one is you always got to make sure the black and white original is always available. Don't replace the black and white original. Don't replace it. Is it true that? Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. No way did Elvis hate the Beatles. Elvis would be far too intelligent to even be bothered by a totally different genre. Well, I think he's talking about later on, right? Later on, the whole bit about when Elvis was getting to be a real, I don't know, nutcase with Richard Nixon and all that. Let's see. Gene Simmons said He was on the subway while the Beatles were playing at Shea, and he saw them from the subway train. Well, that's pretty cool. At least that's something. It was a generational thing when it came to Elvis and the Beatles, entirely two different worlds. Some can pass the torch, some can't. Well, I always say, like, I have no problem with, saying that Elvis was the greatest solo performer, Beatles were the greatest band, although with Bob Dylan now, it's tough. Who worked with George Martin more after the Beatles split with the solo work? Oh, that's Paul. Paul by far. And there's a wave. In the Let It Be movie, during the jam session, they sang a song called Susie Parker. Was that an original Beatles song or a cover? It wasn't really a finished song, really, that I know of, and I can't think if it was just somebody can tell me now. This one, you got me on this one, James. I don't know whether it was something they just that was an old song that they were kind of like spoofing, or whether it's something that they just made up themselves. Well, this is an interesting question. Is Bob Dylan the greatest songwriter of all time? And I always have a problem with that because I think Bob Dylan is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. But the problem is, I think Paul McCartney is the greatest songwriter of all time. And why do I say that? Because of his gift for the music, his gift for melody, tunes, writing thousands, I was going to say millions, hundreds or thousands of different melodies, very catchy melodies. So in that regard, I think Paul McCartney is the greatest songwriter. And I put them together. I say Lennon and McCartney. I think Lennon and McCartney as a team, the greatest songwriters of all time. Now, Bob Dylan, he's one of the greatest lyricists of all time, greatest poets of all time. So the question is, you know what I mean? I always try to decide how I feel about that. What kind of live album do you think Apple and the Beatles should do to show how good the Beatles are? The Beatles weren't very good live. What I mean by that is they weren't good live during their heyday when they were going through Beatlemania and all the girls were screaming and they couldn't really hear themselves. Sometimes they didn't even try hard enough. I don't know. I would say maybe the Washington, D.C. concert, though, with the screaming there, too. But it's a pretty good performance. I think the performance in Paris is very good. 65, 64 and 65. But, there are two there. Touche. I don't like constant comparisons of great performers and artists. It becomes excessive, though I still do indulge in it sometimes. Well, it's just fan stuff. If you're a fan, bragging rights, banter back and forth with different fans. Imagine just plucking from fresh air out of nothing and writing "Maybe I'm Amazed." What an absolute gift! Absolutely. What about the Japan shows of John Lalo? Oh, I wouldn't want to see the Japan shows because they're bad quality. The Beatles did not perform well in Japan in '66. He was asking specifically to show how I don't know if Noah was serious, but to show how good the Beatles were. John Lalo was asking which ones should come out, which live shows. I don't think the Tokyo shows would give a good account of the Beatles' talents live. Who am I to say, but I never liked the static set list in the live Beatle concerts. There is a bootleg you can buy, Elvis versus the Beatles, the main event album, kind of like the Beatles versus the Four Seasons, right? McCartney 1, 2, or 3, all three. Depends on my mood. These days, I actually enjoy McCartney 3 the best, to tell you the truth. And I always liked McCartney 2. I should say I didn't like it when the day that I first heard it. I had played it a couple of times. I began to love it. So right now, I'll take 3. That's right. You heard me. Everybody heard me right. 3. The problem is that the first McCartney album, has a few great songs on it. So, like, Maybe I'm Amazed and Every Night. And maybe I'll pick McCartney 1 on second thought. Told you I can't make up my mind. The answer is a big, giant no. Taylor Swift, I do not think, is the greatest entertainer and artist of all time. No. She's one of them. She has to be one of them because she's done so well, I guess. But of all time, no. I've noticed lots of videos, finally, people chatting about Give My Regards to Broad Street, the movie and the album. Do you think it will start getting any credit it deserves? No, I don't really. We did a show on this on Talk More Talk and other things. And it hasn't improved. I can watch the movie Give My Regards to Broad Street, mostly for the music, And as far as the songs, it's not like the new songs, but they're never going to be classic, except possibly the song No More Lonely Nights. I hope there's never a McCartney 4. I hope there's never one, because I just like the idea of there being a trilogy. McCartney 1, 2, 3, and that's it. One at the beginning of his solo career, one later in the middle-ish kind of, and then one late in the last part of his career. I think that sums it up pretty well. I wouldn't want there to be another McCartney 4. Another McCartney solo all by himself album called McCartney 4. What's going on, Ricks? Memory Almost Full and New are good underrated albums. Not my favorite solo, Paul, but I listen to them. I like those 2 albums as well, especially the album New, which I like even better than Memory Almost Full. I'm going to bet there won't be any rant videos in 2025. Thoughts? I find that I'm running out of things to rant about, but as soon as I say that, every time either somebody asks me or I say that, there winds up being rant material. So we'll see. Can't wait for the 12 inches of snow Monday. You know what Don would say if Don was here. What? I heard we're going to get some snow, but I didn't know if it's 12 inches or not. Great point. A trilogy at appropriate points of McCartney's career. Yeah, that's what I like. McCartney 1, 2, and 3. Same here regarding Memory Almost Full and New. Okay, I've been listening to John's Mind Games a lot lately, and I believe Sean Ono Lennon has made it one of John's best albums. The sound quality is amazing, vocals and instruments. Yeah, he did a great job with the quality. Much clearer, less muddy. Absolutely. Hello, Mike. What's going on? How do you feel about covers of Beatles songs being used in commercials? Did Paul change his tune on licensing songs, or is he not in charge of that anymore? I don't know if Paul changed his tune on that or not, but as far as how I feel, I don't like Beatles songs in commercials, period. To this day, from certain jingles on commercials like Good Vibrations still reminds me of orange juice or sun-kissed oranges to this day, from when I was a kid. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Robbie. I know what you're saying. Uh, my wish list. Give my regards to Broad Street. Any form. I definitely want to get an improved movie copy of Give My Regards to Broad Street. Whoop, whoop. I definitely want to get a. We need a Blu-ray of that. Yeah, I know what you mean. It must come housed in a blue glowing tape box. Yeah. Well, if they were going to do that, last year was the anniversary, but there will be rants. Never underestimate the amount of dummies around town, most with bad work ethic and lack of gratitude, etc., and lack of concentration and lack of competence, right? Paying attention to an order when you order something. Yeah. I know Michael Jackson licensed some of the Beatles tunes that come together for the movie This Boy's Life. Well, very funny. I'm sorry, I read it. I read it before. Sorry. The basic story of Broad Street was kind of weak. WEAK, right? A stolen master tape doesn't interest most. So that was one big issue, the story. Over here, you put weak, WEAK. All right. All righty. When you have to wear a mask again, you can do a rant video. Oh, great. Yeah, I will. If you can hear me through the damn mask. Uh, Beatles songs and commercials are a good thing. Puts the music out there, and young fans like that. Well, I don't mind the music being out so people can listen to it and young people can like it, but I don't want it run on in commercials to the point where I don't know if you ever been to anything like that, John, but after a while, if you have enough commercials, like right now they have the Ozempic commercial, right? Now, what's that song? Is it called Magic? It's Magic by Pilot, is it? This song, oh, 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 Ozempic. Oh, oh, is that song? Oh, 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 it's magic. That song is now ruined because of the Ozempic commercial. Ruined. If you hear that song, it's magic or magic, whatever it's called. If you hear that song now, you think of Ozempic. That's the problem. That's the problem I have with it. Not that I don't want young people to get familiar with the Beatles and like the Beatles and turn on to it. It's because I just don't want the feeling of the song to get associated with something else. Sorry, the lull. Yeah, ELO definitely admired the Beatles and carried on from the Beatles too. Don't forget the song Showdown. It sounds like I Am the Walrus, for example. Hello, Eric. I don't like that either, how they ruined the Magic song with those TV commercials. Right. That's the most recent example I can think of. There's always examples like that, but that's the most recent one I can think of. No, I do not think the mail system is obsolete at all. No. Nope. My kids and I just watched the Shuffling Off to Buffalo. What am I doing, Oscar? Shuffling off to Buffalo. You're going to miss my sense of humor. To say you are influenced by the Beatles surely isn't a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. No, I hope I didn't do anything to suggest otherwise. Oh, really? Well, there you go. That can happen. That can happen. I loved your rant video on the Department of Motor Vehicles. Yeah, sure. I don't blame you. No, I did not like the Revolution. Well, let's put it this way: the Revolution commercial for the Nike sneakers or whatever they were. It didn't hurt the song Revolution any because, as far as I remember, like I said, it wasn't repeated over and over and over again like the Ozempic commercial. The Revolution thing didn't become ingrained in the product. The song Revolution wasn't that ingrained in the sneakers. I still mail in my gas and electric bills as well as many others. I would not say the post office is obsolete. Well, you still need packages, and to this day, I still get things. I get Social Security, not checks, but Social Security notices. They send them through the mail. Like I just got a notice saying that the Social Security is going to give you a little cost of living raise. Fantastic. The problem is my car insurance is going up, my health insurance is going up, and my rent is going up. So getting an extra $40 in your Social Security isn't going to do much. I don't believe this at all. When I started working for the post office in the mid '90s, and the postmaster told us one of these days robots are going to deliver the mail. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's not going to happen ever. This whole drone thing. Eventually, they're going to fall down. Kids are gonna like throw rocks at them and try to break them. I mean, it's a silly thing. Drones. Hi, Nick. I don't live near a record store that I can get to easily. I get most of my music sent to me in the mail. As I say, still with parcels and things like that, still important to be sent. I had a friend, and she always used to say at the end of the year, "What's your New Year's revolution?" Always made me laugh. She must have been influenced by the Beatles. And movies, too. There's nowhere to get movies in White Plains. Well, I'm still waiting for an Amazon shipment. I ordered some movies a few days ago, and I'm waiting for them to arrive. And how many of them will arrive ding with the disc falling off the hub? I don't know. But can you imagine how loud the sky would be if there were hundreds of drones delivering packages? Oh, don't give them any ideas. I don't like big pharma advertising on TV, especially when they have songs singing the praises of drugs. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you. There's a Barnes and Noble on a Newberry Comics and a Target, and that's at Slim Pickens in White Plains. And before you say anything, the Barnes and Noble is not very good, very disorganized, and their criterion selection is very small. I have two Barnes and Noble that I go to. One of them is very big Barnes and Noble store, and even their criterion section has gotten smaller. Still, it's okay, but it used to be much bigger. Then I have a second Barnes and Noble that doesn't have any DVDs at all, Blu-rays at all, no movie media at all. Speaking of movies, once again, I'm going to put this banner up. Would you please subscribe to my other channel, Mr. Cinemayo? I have movie content on there if you like movies. I have television content if you like TV. And other surprises over there that are not necessarily movies or TV. Like the other day when I decided to get back into comic book collecting to some degree. So I'm probably going to put some things there that are not just TV and movies. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. Oh, I've been watching the show, the TV sitcom Taxi. A while ago, for a good price, I got a used copy of the complete series of Taxi. And we've been enjoying watching episodes. Very good. Those were the days. Do you have any Dylan DVDs like Don't Look Back? Or No Direction Home? You mean this? Yeah, I just gave this another watch. I own this, and I've seen this many, many times. And yeah, there you go. But I saw them. I saw No Direction Home, but I don't own it. Okay. Do you think they'll put CD players back in new cars? I really hope so. I mean, I have a portable little player that sticks in the auxiliary, but I really wish they would make cars with CD players in them. I think there's at least, maybe there's like one more car in my future, in my life, at least one. And I'd like it to have a CD player, please. But I watched No Country for Old Men again recently. How was that classic? You're asking? I think No Country for Old Men is overrated. I remember liking Javier Bardem. I liked him in the movie. He was a good villain. That's what I remember about it. It's not bad. It's okay movie. It's just not. I mean, Best Picture. I don't understand that being Best Picture material. That's the only problem I have with it. It's okay. I remember that Barnes and Noble video. They wouldn't give you an advertisement or something. Yeah, I went there because I had asked them. One of the women there, they had the Egypt Station, Paul McCartney Egypt Station display, countertop display. And a woman kept it for me and had my name on the back with a piece of paper. Then one day I went to pick it up and the manager saw it. Oh, no, you can't give that to him. No. And he got really nasty about it. And I flipped him off and I told him what he could do with his store. I told him at that time, he said Barnes and Noble were going to go out of business. And I laughed at him. He laughed back at me. Well, he got the last laugh because that Barnes and Noble has not gone out of business. But I'm okay with that because I want Barnes and Noble to stay, They say there's going to be no more books. Sure. There's one commercial for some medical product for testing where they sing My Way with new words. And now the end is near. That's the original line. Yeah. Here at the UK cinemas, you can buy a year pass, $100 a year, which isn't expensive. You can go to the cinema as much as you like. Would you get your money's worth if you had it? Well, I don't see movies because I could go a whole year, Lila, now without seeing a new movie. When I was younger, so much younger than today, when I was like 19, 20, 21, I used to go to several movies a week. Back in 1980 to 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, the 80s. What are you doing? Jumping off the bed? If you heard that crash up there. But back in those days, the pass certainly would have been worth it. I'd like to try to go to more movies these days, but I don't want to just go through nonstop action CGI crazy fests. Just started reading McCartney Legacy 2 and completed The Beatles, God and the Bible by Ray Comfort. Fascinating book. Thank you, Rocco. Hello, Harold. What's going on there? How good is that classic? To me, it's overrated. Like I said, it's not. It's an okay movie, not a bad movie, but I just think I think it's overrated, not Best Picture. Listen to Blonde on Blonde while working out the other day. Great disc, make that too. I gotta disagree with you again. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan, and you know what? I don't love that album. I really don't. In fact, we heard it the other day. I was at the record store, and because of the Bob Dylan craze now with the movie No Direction Home, no, A Complete Unknown. I keep getting those mixed up. Because of A Complete Unknown, we played it, and I was like, I don't like a lot of songs on here. I'm sorry. I like 4. And I got to tell you, though, let me say this, though. I love the early Bob Dylan. I was before that. I love Freewheelin'. I think the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan is one of the best albums of all time, one of my favorites. The Times They Are A-Changin', Another Side of Bob Dylan, Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61. So I like my Dylan. But for some reason, Blonde on Blonde, that's the album where he really developed that annoying cliche of going, he does that through the whole freaking album. And I don't remember him doing it that much before that. He might find examples of him doing it before Blonde on Blonde, but he really does that freaking thing way too much. Oh, Mom, you really be the end. Man, stuck inside with Memphis Blues again. It's like, all right, come on. Somebody up there is getting annoyed that I'm doing this, I think. It's a companion CD to No Direction Home with the recording of the infamous 65 Folk Festival when Dylan opened with Maggie's Farm. I saw that. They have that in my store, actually right now, I think. Part one of No Direction Home is brilliant, where this man came from nowhere and revolutionized society. But part two is when Bob is the Bob Dylan we know of today. Joe, are you going to call me later? Well, Danny, I was thinking about it. I'm going to be getting off here fairly soon. So maybe 15 minutes or less. 99% of drugs that they advertise are designed to make you think your life will be glamorous, to keep you taking them, and Big Pharma getting richer, while those same meds are just a Band-Aid. Yeah. What do I think of Egypt Station? I replayed it recently, and I got to tell you, I don't love that album either. There's a lot of things here, it just so happens that, isn't it funny? There's things here that you just happen to get me with a lot of things that I don't love. Egypt Station is a completely middle-of-the-road album. There's stuff I love on it. I love I Don't Know. I love Come On to Me. I love Dominoes. There's a song called Happy With You that I like. There's like 4 or 5 songs I like on it, but that's an album I think as we listen to it, for me, as I listen to it, it goes down. It starts up and it goes down as it goes. So there you go. So cinema-wise, does not as many films inflame your interest anymore? Yeah, that's what I was saying before. I'm just not interested in it. Look at when I was a kid, my grandfather didn't want to see the movies I wanted to see. Right? That's the way it is. But I'm going to try to make some exceptions. I'm going to try. I am retired after all, and I like going to the movies, so maybe I'll do that. I have a movie channel. So I'll make that a New Year's resolution, Lila. All right, a little bit, one of my many New Year's resolutions. So maybe I'll look into that, getting a pass and finding one day of the week where I think they have like Tuesdays, but Tuesday's not a good day for me, unfortunately. But anyway, I'll try to see more movies. Maybe. Let's see. By the way, Lila, are you subscribed to my movie channel? All right. I like the book that came with the Revolver box set. Very good one. Yes, books are great. I agree. Barnes & Noble support censorship. I think Bob's best song on Blonde... let me do this the other way. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes it's tough. I think Bob's best song is on Blonde. That being Visions of Johanna. Nah, it's not one of my favorites. My favorite song on that album was Just Like a Woman. That's my favorite song on there. Just Like a Woman, I Want You. I like there's some other ones too. I don't like Rainy Day Women's, whatever the numbers are. Rainy Day, I think that's a stupid, dumb song. Never loved that song. Blonde on Blonde didn't sit well with me. Me either. I think it's an overrated album. Blood on the Tracks, which I've never listened to in its entirety, and John Wesley Harding, which I never listened to in its entirety, are my favorites. But I also like most of them up to Oh Mercy. I saw his Oh Mercy tour. It was really good. Let me tell you, the songs on there I like, but I can't remember other albums that I like by him. Just so in case you don't know, that it's not just the 60s. I love Slow Train Coming. Slow Train Coming is one of my very favorite Dylan albums. And I love Infidels, one of my favorite Bob Dylan albums. And I love Tempest from 2012. I think Tempest was great. Blonde on Blonde was when Dylan sang the most extreme note stretching and bending. That's what people do when doing an easy imitation of him. He sounds like he's whining. Yes. And I don't like it. And it would be okay on one or two songs, but he does it every song, almost every song. Is American Graffiti still a movie you love to see on the big screen? I did see it on the big screen. American Graffiti came back to the movie theater, and I saw it on the big screen recently. I saw it on the big screen a couple of times. I saw it in the 1990s. I saw it when it first came out in 1973 at the theater. Then I saw it in the 90s when it came back, and I saw it a year or two ago. The Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary is coming out. I want to see the Led Zeppelin documentary. Yeah, I know. I know Ken Burns as well. Dominoes is a work of art. The song from Egypt Station. Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands, longest track on Blonde is one of my favorites on that record. Stuck Inside a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again. I like Absolutely Sweet Marie. Absolutely Sweet Marie, I like it. Oh, I know. Hey, I know. That's why I say it's underrated. Overrated. Jesus, help me. That's why I said it's overrated, because it is considered one of his best. That's why I think it's overrated. I can't pick my three favorite films. I can't narrow it down to three. There's a lot of movies I like. Jaws, American Graffiti, The Sting. I'm just going to name a few, Rosemary's Baby, The Omega Man, Westworld, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Movies like that, all kinds of movies. If they have a Jaws Fest this year, would you go? And if they re-release the movie, well, I would be highly, highly surprised if they did not re-release the movie to theaters again. This is the 50th anniversary this year of Jaws. They got to have it back at the theater. But I've seen Jaws in the theater for reissues many times, even a couple of years. I've seen it like 2-3 times in the movie theater in the last 5-7 years. So it's definitely going to be coming out again. But I wonder if they'd have a Jaws Fest. That's interesting. If they had like a Jaws convention or something. If they had a Jaws convention, I might go. On Highway 61, we visited. Bob did a little of that note stretching, just like Tom Thumb's Blues and Queen Jane approximately. Right, I agree. And those are two of my least favorites. Although I love the album, Highway 61 Revisited. It's funny that just like Tom Thumb's Blues and Queen Jane approximately are not my most favorites on there. Desolation Row is another one. Ringo announced 2 dates in June, and so far I have no intention of seeing them. I may, but right now I'm not. You really are a good movie reviewer because you take it all in and compose your review well. Would be nice for you to go see a film you know nothing about, and it turns out you loved it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, because sometimes you need people to tell you if you're doing a decent job or not. Because I have a hard time doing movie reviews. I don't know why. I think the thing is, I'm better when I write, And like I just did like a review of a Nosferatu, not the new one. Nosferatu by Werner Herzog from 1979. Look, these are my notes. I mean, just to show you how many notes there are. I'm glancing at that the whole time. Slow Train and Infidels are excellent. I agree. Joker Man. Oh, yeah. Joker Man. Great. When he returns, standout. Best of Bob's 3 Return to Religion albums. I also like some songs off Shot of Love. But I got to admit, I've never heard Saved. I have it, though. Maybe that's something I should do. When I revamp my first time spins, or first time listens series. I like the tone of his voice on "Lay Lady Lay." Absolutely, that's a nice sound that he had that he used only temporarily. Talking about Beatles '64 was okay to me, but not a must see. I agree. I recommend Blood on the Tracks. It's a great album. I know. I've heard that. I know some. I know a couple of songs on it, but not the whole thing. I also like Tempest a lot. Me too. And the song that I hate on that album is "Roll On John." So before anybody thinks, "Oh, it's got a John Lennon tribute song," I don't like "Roll On John" by Bob Dylan off Tempest. Terrible, lazy lyrics, song name checking, unbecoming of Dylan. Very weak. And it also came along 32 years late. Are you live streaming tomorrow from your classroom? The answer is no. That's the reason I'm live streaming now. I don't have to go back to that classroom till I think the 19th, somewhere around there. Not tomorrow and not the Sunday after. I'm free. But I'm going to be changing things up. I'm going to be doing some live streams around this time on Saturdays. But myself, catch up with Mayo. I'm going to be doing some of them at this time, and some of them I'll be doing earlier, like when I do it Sunday. Anyone else love the 40s era? Great Expectations? Anybody out there? Favorite animated film? I'm not big on animated films. I pick Yellow Submarine because it's the Beatles, but I'd like some of the Disney movies, the old ones, Pinocchio, Dumbo, stuff like that. Dylan sounds so sarcastic, and one of us must know when he sings, "I didn't mean to treat you so bad." Bob changed his voice for Nashville Skyline, no doubt, to sound more like a country singer. It's actually one of his best-selling albums, which surprises me, partly because of Johnny Cash's involvement. Yeah. My favorite songs on Highway 61, Tombstone Blues and Desolation Row. Well, Desolation Row is not one of my favorite songs on the album, but I do love Tombstone Blues and mostly everything. Queen Jane approximately is not bad either. I said it's not one of my favorites, but I like Queen Jane approximately. I like It Takes a Lot to Laugh, Takes a Train to Cry. I like Ballad of a Thin Man. I saw or heard your review of Herzog's Nosferatu, and it's very good and thoughtful. I saw it once about 42 years ago, and I want to see it again. Yeah, I got your comment. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate your comments. Anytime you want to watch my movie channel and you want to give me a comment, I appreciate it. Blood on the Tracks is Keith Richards' favorite Dylan album, apparently. Apparently, Jaws 50 is coming to cinemas in UK with the Shark is Broken documentary before the main movie. That would be nice. What did you get for Christmas? Oh, geez. Well, mostly shirts. A lot of different T-shirts, mainly. That's what I wanted. I find I don't need gifts as much as I used to. As you get older. And on that note, I'm going to go now. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to be here with all of you for another solo by myself. Catch up with Mayo. And I'll be doing more. I'm just going to see when I'm going to do these things. Just if you keep watching my channel and get the notifications, I'll try to put a thumbnail up there the best I can. Maybe I'll do another one next Saturday around the same time, or Sunday morning, somewhere around there. We'll see how it goes. So thank you all. I want to say again, thank you, Rome Loves Dan. Happy New Year to everybody. This is my first Catch Up with Mayo, addressing my audience, just me, live stream of the year of 2025. So have a Happy New Year, everybody. And I really appreciate everybody, more than you could know. This May, when we get to May, God willing, I will be doing this channel 13 years. It'll be a completion of 13 years in May. So thank you, everybody. And I will talk to you all soon. Keep watching. Subscribe. Please subscribe to my other channel, Mr. Cinemayo. Cheers.